Hello and welcome to Continuity Condensed. This is going to be a series in which I take a story that's kind of popular, or, well, any story basically, I feel like, and I'm going to give you all the background information you need if you want to read it. Now, this is an important fact to note. This series is not going to be me explaining the stories. This is going to be me explaining what you need to know to read these stories. So basically, if you've ever felt, oh boy, I really want to read this story, but I don't know any of the back, so I don't know who Shazam is, or The Flash, or Captain Cold, don't worry. You can just watch the Continuity Condensed on whichever series it is. So that way, it can kind of help those that might not otherwise get into comics. Let's say, for example, that you really loved the Iron Man movie, and so you want to read Iron Man, so you go and look up Iron Man on the Marvel Wiki, and you're like, what am I looking at? Why is he a teenager here? What am I looking at? Why is he kind of evil here? And straight away be lost, because then you're like, okay, so his parents made a deal with aliens? What? I'm lost? So you think, okay, maybe that was a bad example. Who really cares about Iron Man? So you go and look up Batman, because who doesn't love Batman? And then you're like, what am I looking at? Thomas Wayne? What? Who's... Okay, that's not Batman. I don't know what that is, but that's not Batman. I'm never going to read comics again, because what the hell? And essentially that's what I want this series to be. It'll help explain your way into stories. So, for example, I don't know, Avengers Disassembled. If I did a video on that, I would describe all the team members beforehand and some of the important factors that tie into the whole series, so you understand the importance of what happens. But I'm not going to tell you who's behind disassembling the Avengers and all of that. That's not what this series is. If there is, go watch Comic Storian or Comics Explained or Comic Pop, or there's a million other series that do that. So I want this very much to be, oh, I want to read the story where Wolverine dies, or perhaps the story where Superman dies and then loads of crazy people take his place. Or the story where Martian Manhunter dies. Oh no, wait, no one cared about that. The story where Batman is killed. Or the story where Spider-Man dies. Or the story where Orpheus is oh no, wait, no one cared when Orpheus died. Or then perhaps the other story where Spider-Man died. Or perhaps the story where Hal Jordan died after kind of going crazy and murdering all his friends. Or the story where Spider-Ham died. Yes, even Spider-Ham has been killed. Although, perhaps you want to read the story where everyone dies. Or maybe the story where everyone dies again, except it happened before and in a different universe. Or the story where Spawn died. Oh no, wait, you probably don't care about that, do you? Essentially, this series, the idea is it will give you the foreknowledge you need to be able to go into those stories and read them without too much like, who the hell is that? However, the obvious question is, restating old information, I'm going to take the approach with Continuity Condensed of there being, continuity among the videos themselves. So, for example, if I explain in one video what the New 52 is, I'm still going to explain it in another video where I explain a story or the backstory to a story taking place in the New 52, because I don't expect everyone to have watched every single one of the videos I make. So this way it makes it as accessible as possible to whoever wants to watch these without, oh no, I haven't seen all however many I end up doing of these. Also, the other obvious question is, will I be covering any characters? The answer is, yeah, probably at some point. I'll give, background information on each of the characters. However, for the most part, I will focus on stories. However, I may do a couple of things like, what is, I don't know, the Question's backstory, or what is, the ultimate universe, that kind of stuff, where it's just like, oh, okay, I have the basic knowledge to go into this character and be able to understand them. However, obviously, there are a lot of channels on YouTube that do stuff like that, so overall, I will try and more or less avoid doing that too much. I will make a few assumptions about the audience in terms of, I expect you to know who Batman is, I expect you to know who Superman is, I expect you to know of the Avengers at the very least, and to have probably seen the movies in that case. So yeah, I'm not going to assume you've never heard of Batman. So yeah, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, at least know of the Avengers. That's more or less the only assumptions I'm going to make, and even then I'll probably briefly touch on it, but every time I do a video on Batman, I'm not going to explain how his parents were shot and that kind of thing. I expect you to know that much. However, that being said, speaking of Batman, the first video I plan on doing is going to be giving background on Batman the Court of Owls, because that's a good place to start in terms of it's the New 52, it's Batman, and yeah, it's just kind of a good, more or less simple, there's not too many characters, so in that video I'll kind of give an overview of like Robin, Batgirl, that kind of thing, but not, obviously, because the expectation is afterwards you'll go read the book, I'm not going to tell you who the Court of Owls are because, well, that's the mystery of the book and I don't want to ruin that. So, in conclusion, I hope you show some interest in the series because I'm certainly excited doing it, and I hope you will check back to see these. There's not going to be a very regular schedule with videos, let alone these continuity condensed ones at the moment, so yeah, just kind of sorry about that, but school means I can't just be like, alright, here we go, let's do a video every Wednesday. In a perfect world I would, but sadly I cannot. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the sounds of this series, and obviously I will still keep doing small talk and other reviews in general.